Good afternoon. Welcome to Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name is Samuel Odi. I hope you're having a fabulous Thursday afternoon. And yes, today we'll be looking at, on Midday Discourse, we'll be looking at school bullying, how to tackle school bullying and prevention. And there's a report from the Federal Ministry of Education on that aspect. So my producer will be playing this, and when we come back, I'll be introducing my guest who is joining us all the way from Nasarawa, and we'll be diving deep on how we can prevent school bullying and tackle it so that it doesn't arise and cause pupils and students traumas when they grow up. Do enjoy and stay with us. We'll be right back.
During the meeting, the Minister of State for Education expressed deep concern over the circulated video and took decisive action by appointing a 7-member committee to thoroughly investigate the circumstances surrounding the documented incident. The committee's mandate is to investigate the events as depicted in the videos and come up with expanded investigations to other schools using Lead British International School as a case study to address broader social vices, assuring the Nigerian populace of the government's commitment to ensuring safety and protecting the right of all students. He further reiterated the seriousness of the Federal Ministry of Education in addressing and eradicating vices within the education sector.
If the need arises, also expand the investigation to many other schools that have this such happened, people cannot just allow it. We use this as a case study in trying to ensure that rights and privileges of students are protected. On the issue of the closure of the school in the next few days, that will be addressed as inter-ministerial discussion, and the ministry will result into a meeting to address that. It's an inter-ministerial issue, and we will also discuss and respond to it appropriately.
The Permanent Secretary Education, Didi Wilson Jack, inquired about the existence of an anonymous suggestion box at the school where students can lodge their complaints discreetly, while recommending fostering relationship between teachers and students so as to enable students to feel comfortable reporting directly to them.
We'd like to have a very frank discussion with him because it may actually help us in our further deliberations concerning safety of children in school, safety of children, vices in schools, and general discipline amongst children in schools. So we hope that you will open up, share with us, first of all, the issues that led to that particular incident and any other issues you would like to share with us that would help us to ensure that the menace of bullying in schools is actually addressed.
Representatives from Lead British International School led by Abraham Ogwakambi, head of school at LBIS Abuja, assured the ministry that appropriate measures had been taken in response to the incident, including disciplinary actions in accordance with school policies.
Yes, and I would like to first start on behalf of the school to apologize for the fact that you said you waited for us at 2 o'clock and we were not here. And I want to first of all talk about what led to that. Actually, that letter got to me at about 10 minutes to 12, and we were here for 12. But as at that time, there were parents who were grieved in the school compound. We invited the parents of all the children that were involved, and we interviewed them one after the other.
The Federal Ministry of Education assures that it remains steadfast in its dedication to fostering safe and conducive learning environments for all students across the nation. Fauziya Lukman, Global TV News.
The federal government has frowned so much about the bullying that recently occurred in one of the schools in the Federal Capital Territory, and they had to summon the management of the school to be able to know what the problem is and then know how to solve it. And now on today's edition of Midday Discourse, I'll be introducing my guest at this time in the person of Mrs. Esther Bishon I, who is the proprietress of Brilliant Minds Academy in Nasarawa. She's joining us all the way from Nasarawa State. Hello, good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, it's always good to have you on Midday Discourse. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Okay. Now, what's the nature of bullying? Like, in just on Tuesday, just this week, a video surfaced online about a student who is being bullied in school. And in your position as a proprietress of a school, what are the nature of bullying? We have different kind of bullying. So what are the natures of bullying in schools?
All right, so we have different kind of bullying in school. We have the physical bullying, we have the cyberbullying, we have the emotional bullying. There are different kind of bullying in the school. But what I want us to look at is that, what are bullies? People will say mean things. People will say things to hurt others. People who want to hurt others and just want to gain like power over them. So we have different kind of bullying. And what we've seen in Nigeria today is what we see is physical bullying. The one the children do eat each other, like the one that happened on Tuesday. The girl was slapping and was slapping. Why was she doing so? Because she already has power. She has gained power over the girl she was bullying.
Okay. So, okay, how often does bullying really occur in schools? Like, do you have a rate of how much this occurs?
To be sincere with us, bullying happens almost every day in all schools. It might not be as obvious or as glaring as what we saw on Tuesday, but I want to tell you that even in classes, in the classroom, a child will want to bully another child. They might not see it at that time as bullying, but bullying happens almost every day in the school.
Okay. Is it something that just happens once, or it's a gradual process? Does it build, or it just starts off gradually,
It
or it's
starts
something that
gradually.
just
It, it starts
explodes?
gradually. Yes, it starts gradually. I want to tell us this afternoon that bullying starts from homes. Most of these children that you see that they come to school to bully other or to act like something is wrong with, they are learning it from somewhere, and they don't just start immediately. When a man begins to abuse his woman in the house, and the children they are picking it small, small, they're abusing themselves. Sometimes the children try to come out to use it on other kids in the school. Are you getting me?
Yes.
So it's something that starts gradually. They'll be picking it small, small. A man that is abusing his woman, before you know it, he will start beating his woman. And as they are beating them, they will be looking at that, because the first teachers, the first place where the children learn is from their home. Learn from their home. And anything a child is doing in the school, at least 70% has been taken from the house. So it's something they start gradually. And when you're unable to caution it, as you're able to stop it, it will just grow to the extent that maybe it's beyond control.
Okay. What role do parents play now in terms of kids that go to school and bully children?
What would a parent do?
Yeah. What roles do
You
they
said,
play in those aspects? Because you said,
yes, yes, the parent as role model. Now, we should live by example. You see those people that were typing and saying a lot of things on media on Tuesday, most of them are bullies themselves. You come out and say, "Ah, the girl did this, the girl did that," but we need to live by example. Whatever we want our children to do, that's like passing values. You are transferring values to the children. Are you getting me?
yes.
And in doing that, you must be able to live the kind of life you want your children to go and live out there. If maybe I'm always abusing my children, your head is not correct, your head is this, what am I expecting the child to stay in the school? The child too will go there and say that in the school. So as parents, one of the places we're supposed to start this more bullying, or to caution the bullying, is from where? Is from the home. Parents need to live by example. We need to be role models to these children. What they will go and say outside, what they do outside, they are copying it from us. So as parents, we must be the first teacher that will tell these children no to bullying. When you know that there is no to bullying, the child will not go out and go and bully other. So that is how we can take care of that. We can prevent it as parents.
Okay, that's the angle now as parents. So now, in institutions now, in schools now, how do we curtail this from even, happening in the first place? Because one, obviously there will be, it's either a group or an individual. We can have group bullies or an individual bully who is always picking on one particular person. So how do we, as a school now, how do you, prevent all of that from happening?
All right, yes. What we do in schools almost every time is that we always have anti-bullying week. I want to tell you with what happened on Tuesday, I'm sure most school we have to be running that program for maybe 2 or 3 times in a term. And apart from that, the teachers need to teach them with a lot of empathy. The teacher too must show example of how to treat others with a
Yeah.
lot of cares. In all the school walls, you should have what says no bullying. Our school is a bullying free zone. We don't have such thing in our school. We must not bully other. And almost every assembly of gathering, either the gender assembly or the general assembly, we must have what is called the word bullying, no bullying. You need to make it to be something that is stick to their heads. Just like we have the John 3:16 stick to everybody's head. We must stick that into every one of them head so that to know that the bullying is no. And we have to highlight and show the types of bullying. Some people believe that it's only when you are eating somebody, you are beating somebody that is bullying. No, even when you are trying to leave somebody out, even when you are trying to say, I'm not going to be your friend. We have some children like that. We are
Yes.
not going to be our friend. And you will just be alone. And you will just be feeling bad. And that can cause depression for a child. So we need to be telling them what is bullying. In fact, when a child comes to the school and she's more dressed or is more dressed than others, I tell you, it's a sign of what? Bullying. Maybe you are looking too good. The parent has dressed you so in a paparazzi way that you're just like maybe the attraction of others.
Yeah.
Others will be thinking, my parents couldn't avoid this. And you'll be wondering, there are things that children bring to school, like birthday party. You come to school for birthday party, you see some children who want to celebrate birthday party in a bigger way than maybe if Ifeoma celebrated her own last week. That's bullying on that child. So
Yeah.
bullying is something that we can't just take it on only eating, as in you are eating each other, you are pushing each other. It has to do with a lot of things. But these are the things that school owners need to come up with and begin to tell children, to speak to them almost every time. These are what bullying looks like.
Okay. You made mention about gender assembly, and so for someone who is sitting at home who doesn't really understand why you have two different kind of assemblies, can you please throw more light on that? Why you have maybe general assembly and gender assembly? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Did you get the question? I say you made mention of General Assembly and Gender Assembly. Can you throw more
Yes.
light on the difference, so our viewers at home will be
Okay.
able to have more understanding of
Yes.
what you meant by that two
Gender
different kind of
assembly. All
assemblies?
right, gender assembly. Gender assembly is when you pack the girls, the female, and the male to the other side. That is to say, the male will be talked to differently from the female. And during this gender assembly, we have issues that we discuss that are related to girls.
Okay.
Issues that are related to boys will be discussed in the male assembly and female assembly. At least we have this kind of assembly once in a week, maybe on Wednesday. We do have it whereby you talk about things related to girls alone and related to boys that you don't want the boys to hear. So we come up with different things on that gender assembly. And when we talk about the general assembly, is a general one that you have to mix up both the female and the male together. We have some schools that maybe they are just, maybe it's
Strictly
only
boys.
male, maybe boys school alone, or girls' school, but in a situation whereby you have the male and female, even in the primary school, even in the nursery school, things that you are just trying to understand. I tell you that kids in nursery school, they can tell you very well that this is how it is because of the age where we are. So that's why we introduce the gender assembly. It is very, very important for children to be able to know more about their sex in that gender assembly.
Assembly. Okay. You also made mention of some students, some pupils telling, maybe having this group and saying we wouldn't be friends with
Yes,
maybe Choma or
Choma,
Chiamaka or
yes.
somebody. So how do you control or curtail that as a
Yes,
proprietress in your school?
yes. One of the things you can also do is
Because
that
I see that is
as
classified as social bullying. That should be classified as
yes,
social bullying. So how do you
it
curtail
has
that?
happened. Yes, it has happened in the school before. And what a teacher did was that she was able to call the children. What happened? Why did she say you should not be friend? One of the things we encourage the children to do is that you need to speak out, stand up, speak out. You must not keep quiet. Sometimes those kids that do this kind of thing, maybe they are getting small, small tips, they're getting small, small sweets from them. I say, no, don't be friend with this. And you're able to influence them not to be friend with the girl. So what you can do there is that you need to speak to the children on the assembly. In case this kind of thing happen, try and report. You report to your parents or you report to the teacher. And from there, the teacher will, or the parent will take it up so that you'll be able to speak to them. These and these are not what we should do. When you see a child that comes to school with maybe 3 meats on his food or her food, and you are not even having anyone, automatically you'll be feeling somehow. So these are the things you tell the children. You must be satisfied with whatever you have. You must be okay, even though it's palm oil rice you brought to school, be okay with it. Do not look at somebody that's brought maybe 3 big lap of chicken to the school. So there are a lot of work we need to do. It shouldn't be all about books, 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 books. We need to go the extra mile by telling them things that are happening that even parents are not observing, that these things are happening. The lady that was being slapped. That was not the first time the girl has been bullying her. But the
Yeah.
girl couldn't open up. So when the children come back from school, we tell parents to ask them what happened in school today, not how was your day. He or she can say fine, but you can just ask what happened in school today. What have you guys learned? What did you do? Just like that. But we discover that parents too are not they're not standing up to the responsibility. They've left everything on school and on teachers.
Okay. What major role can be played by parents to be able to, find out things about their kids, when they are done from school? Because majority of the time, the teachers, the kids spend most of their day, most of their time in school, and then probably get home
Yes.
maybe 4, 5, and then the parents get back a little bit later than that, and then it's night already, there won't be time. So what do you suggest or advise parents to do to be able to, get to be involved in what's happening in the lives of their children?
The children, apart from asking question of how they are doing, they need to check their behavior. When you see a child, maybe the child is changing, you are not understanding. This is not, that's why you must know them. I got a case this afternoon whereby a child, when she comes back from school, she's always glued to her phone. And while she's chatting on the phone, she's smiling. She don't want to talk to anybody in the house. Is that she's receiving the phone call outside? Are you getting a secondary school
Yes, yes.
girl? She's just
Wow.
16. So the mother didn't notice. Guess who noticed? The elder brother. He was following up until the girl left to the school and he picked up the phone. He was able to see everything the girl was doing. Funny enough, the girl has been chatting a male teacher in the school. So things are about the parents, they are not paying attention. We always want to make the children to feel big by getting big phone for them at the wrong time. Most of this problem that we are encountering today, it is not that it was not there before in our time, but it was not as obvious as this. Now everybody is carrying big phone, and once they are back from school, good afternoon, ma, good afternoon, sir, it's that they are glued inside with the phone. So we need to reduce the way we expose the children to the media. And there should be a certain age that was okay. At this age, you must have a phone. There was a time we had issue on it. The children don't need a phone now, but some people say the children needs phone because the world is
Revolving.
going on and because of the 21st century where we are. But these are the problem that we are facing. These are the problem. A child that was recording that thing, how did the child um, carry the phone down to the school? When we have the school authority, we have them. So as parents, we need to stand up to our responsibility, check out how those children are behaving, what they've been saying, their mood, maybe they swing their mood, or what they are doing in their free time. So those are the things we can
Okay.
do as
Okay.
mothers, not even parents, as mothers.
Okay. What is the impact on the targeted students, on any targeted student that's emotionally and academic wise and probably and also socially? So what impact does bullying have on a student who is always being targeted?
Yes, the child, you see that the child won't perform very well. The child, either the child is just alone, or the child, even when you are teaching the child will not get it. And at the same time, he or she might be dodging from the school. So emotionally, the child is being drained. And this is how it starts. You just say the child is not, the child has been doing well before, the child just refuse to do well, or is not meeting up with what others are doing. The teacher might not notice, as in is because of it, because he or she has been bullied. The teacher might be, this child is not even getting it well, but not really knowing where the problem is coming from. So the impact is so enormous that we need to just do what to follow up on that child.
Okay. In this situation now, what happens when, a student is fine being bullied by a teacher? How do the school authorities handle situations like that?
It's a big case. It's a very big case. Yesterday, two kids met me in the office and was telling me about their CRS. Why the textbook was saying
We seem to be having a bit of technical issues. Well, please do kindly join us back if you can hear me. Bullying generally is unacceptable, whichever way it is, whichever kind of bullying it may be. It's so not acceptable. We have serious and different kinds of bullying. We have societal bully, we have cybersecurity bully, and we have a whole other kind of bullies, which is totally not unacceptable. With all of this, it drains whoever that is being bullied emotionally. You wouldn't be able to function properly. You would have series of ups and downs. Even in workspaces, bullying is totally unacceptable. I'm hoping that Esther Bishon has joined us. Okay, it says she's yet to join due to the network technicalities. So we'll just go on a quick break, and then when we come back, Midday Discourse continues. Welcome back from that quick break. If you're just joining us, this is Midday Discourse on Global Television. My name is Samuel Odi, and we're having a conversation on how to tackle school bullying and its prevention. I've been discussing for the past 25 minutes with Esther Bishon, who is the proprietress of Brilliant Minds Academy, all the way in Nasarawa State. Madam, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Yes. So I asked how, in the situation where a teacher now is bullying a pupil, how do the school authorities handle situations like that?
Yes. What we can do in this case is that the teacher needs to apologize to the child. Because even when you ask the teacher to go because the teacher has done the wrong to the child, the teacher will still go out there and go and do it. So sometimes you need to investigate very well if it comes to maybe to give suspension to that teacher before you say, okay, maybe if it's too much, the teacher can go. But the fact is that in this kind of situation, what we need to do first is that to tell the teacher the right thing to do with the children. As a school owner, you must practice it. When I go to school shouting on teachers, you should be expecting the teacher to do what? To shout on the children. Are you getting me? because they are feeding directly from me. They're not feeding in salary, but in the times of my attitude, what I do to them. When I come to school, shout on them, you've not done this, you've not done that. And they will do what? They will go by their way to do the same thing to the children. But when I made them to realize that these children, they are housed, they are home, we have to bring them up, we have to do this to them, just to talk to them calmly. And the same thing they will do. That's why I said when teachers are teaching, they must be able to teach with us with a lot of empathy. Once you are able to do that, there is no how you become a bully to the child. There are a lot of ways we do things. When the teacher come to school, you smile, you shake them, you give them a big hug, you tell them how was your night, how your parent. Doing that, the children will want to learn from you. But when you are in school as a teacher, you are always bony, you don't have a good time, you're just there. Automatically, even the children will not want to learn from you. They will want to stay away. Are you
Okay.
getting me? They want
Yes,
to
I am
stay
getting
away.
you.
Yes.
Yes.
But when, as school owners, you need to speak to the teachers always. You need to teach with a lot of empathy.
Yeah.
You need to talk with a lot of empathy. And you don't have to maybe tag a child as maybe you don't know anything. Olodo, you don't do this. There are some words we use that we're not
Yes.
supposed to use of the children. So we need to train the teachers and say these words are not allowed. When I start calling a child Olodo, or we are singing bad song to just intimidate the child, automatically the teacher is bullying
The
the
child.
child.
Yes. So how, in the case where a student, some may probably report to you as a proprietor about a teacher, how do you settle or tackle the situation without, the cabal of teachers now in the staff room, putting that particular student in the middle, meaning like, having a negative eye
On her or on
on
him.
her or
All
him.
right.
So how did that,
Yeah.
how do you tackle situations like that?
Yes. Mostly when you have a report of such thing, even when you want to do it in an open briefing with all the staff, you don't have to mention the child's name. I have a teacher that was teaching maths 2 years ago, and a boy reported at home that the teacher called him a goat. Are you getting me? The
Yes.
teacher called him a goat. So when I was going to be discussing with the maths teacher, I told him that a boy in the class, and that class we have close to like 24. So a boy in the class has reported in the house. I called the guy one-on-one. I didn't make it an open something so that you will not embarrass the teacher.
The teacher, yes.
I called him one-on-one, and he explained to me that, in fact, he mentioned the name of the boy. I said, no, it was not the boy's father that called me. I have to cover up for the boy so that they won't put eye on the boy. So as school owners, as school admins, as school health teacher, we must use wisdom. That's why the intelligence, it comes with it, that by using wisdom not to affect, so that it will not affect that particular boy or girl in the school. So we just have to use wisdom to do that.
Okay. You know, federal government just summoned, the school where the bullying happened, right? So what's your reaction? What's your take to that in the way the Ministry of Education in Nigeria reacted to the incident that happened on Tuesday?
Yes. Honestly speaking, I'll be sincere with you, it was overreaction. They overreacted. Yes. Do you know that the things that are more worse than this has happened in some schools that we don't know? So they overreacted to it because this thing will have been something that school will have managed with the parents. But now everybody is hearing it, and things that are more important in the country are not even being handled the way this situation is being handled. I'm not blaming the federal government, I'm not blaming the Ministry of Education, but in my own view and in my own opinion, is something, maybe suspend the girl, they give her punishments, they make like the man said he wants his daughter to leave the school. Whatever be the case, it should be something within the school. Remember the issue of doing, like I think last year,
Yes.
the church and the school, they did this, they did that. At the end of the day, the school is still running. The school is still running. Some people came up and said they're going to bring down the school. If it is my child, if it's my this, everybody is just talking based on their feelings. So, but to my own feelings and my opinion, it's something that the school management will have managed with the parents. Because at the end of the day now, what will federal government gain out of it? Are they going to lock up the girl? What are they doing? Or are they going to pay the girl that has been slapped 17 times or 19 times as we're hearing it? But to my own opinion, it should be something that will have been managed. They will have been able to manage it in the school, not media stuff or
Okay.
Ministry of Education entering into it.
Do you think the federal government stepped in or maybe summoned the school because the incident got into the media space? Do you think that's the
Yes.
main reason, or there are other interests behind the reason why the Ministry of Education stepped into the
All
situation?
right. It's two things. One, the federal ministry got into it because it was all over. It was all over. And the school, the British Leadership School now, is not a small school. Are you getting me? It's
Yeah.
not a small school. They might have to pay a fine, they might have to pay something to the government before they reopen back, because presently now we're told that the school has been shut down. Are you getting me? And
Yes.
at the end of the day, they will reopen the school back. Maybe they've gone to pay or beg somebody. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? So it might be two things. Two things I'm looking at. One, because the thing enter into the media, and they see that this is an interesting case. Hey, it's an interesting case. There are so many cases that is not always interesting the government, but this one, government is very interested in the case. So we don't know. Maybe they too, at the end of the day, they'll be making something out of the school. I'm sorry to say that, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. So now, in the situation where a student has been bullied now, and the student decides to take it upon him or herself to tackle the situation, probably get into a fight, what will the school do now? What can the school do now to avoid something like that from happening?
Yes, the school, we have to speak to the child. That's if the child want to take it upon himself or herself, it's going to bring a lot of problem. It will bring a lot of problem to the child and to the school. So sometimes the child might just stay out of school for a while, just to overcome the trauma, the problem of all these things. Even the girl in question and the girl that is being bullied, that was slapped, before she will become normal back, as in to be stable after all this thing, it will take a while. So maybe they might be talking to the guy, to the victim now, so that he or she will not go and do more or to go and harm him or herself. So we need to check that. We need to follow up, keep talking to the person. No, it's not like this. It's not what you think. So these are things that we need to do as school. And as parents, you need to work as school too. We need to work with parents. You follow up on parents so that you can be sure they are also following up on their child.
Okay. It's just so broad, and there are a lot of issues that might contribute. So, are there any underlying issues or conflict that may have contributed to maybe a child or someone, growing up to be a bully? Does your family background, does the neighborhood where a child is being grown or groomed,
Yes,
does it have
environment.
any impact to play in a child
Impact,
growing up to
yes,
be a
it
bully?
does. It does. It does. Apart from the home where the child is coming from, the environment too matters. There are some environments now that if you as a couple, you just got married and you want to move to, that you are not supposed to move to, because raising children in that kind of environment would not be suitable. Because the child will have to behave like the environment. So environment has a lot to do with raising children, either good or bad. It depends on where the child stays. So we need to check out where we are building up our children to. Apart from home, some people have the background of being a bully. Are you getting me? They've inherited it from their parents. Mere seeing maybe their grandparents or their dad, that no, this child must be very troublesome, because maybe they've inherited it from their parents. We have such people too. Apart from you even seeing what they do, but they have it in their blood that these people, they are bullied. You see, some children are very quiet.
Yes.
They're easygoing. That's the environment where they are and their parents. You hear children saying that my daddy can beat my mommy. My daddy used to beat my mommy. My mommy used to abuse my daddy. What do you expect from those children? They begin to do what? To abuse others too in the school. And when as a parent, when you are too, as in you are too firm on your children, it's not good, because that alone can make them to be very wide.
Yeah. Okay, yes, like you said, growing up and seeing parents, going at it at each other, fighting, maybe using abusive words can also be a negative impact on children
Yes.
growing up, and then that can contribute to them thinking it's a norm in the society for them to go around, bullying people. So now, then I want to go back, I want to digress a bit. You made mention of General Assembly and, Gender Assembly. What kind of lessons did you teach about, sexual harassment? Because it's very key to start, teaching all of these things to children in
Yes.
school so they don't grow up and thinking it's normal. So what words are you putting now to be able to, teach these children in the two different assemblies that you have in your
Assemblies.
school?
Yes, you're right on that, because what we do mostly on gender assembly is all about sex education. We talk basically on sex education. And sex education now, it comes in different way, where we have the good touch and the bad touch. Do not allow them to, if they touch you, this is good touch, this is bad touch. So we have a lot of ways of just making sure that we pass this message across to the children, either by acting it out, either by telling them stories, that after the story, they might pick one or two things and say, yes, I've learned this in this story. When somebody touch you, you need to make noise. Because even touching, some of this touching are bullying. When a teacher is trying to teach you and his teacher is trying to touch some part of your body that he or she is not supposed to touch, and you can't talk because he or she is your teacher. So it's also bullying. So we expose children to see that there are things that when people do to you, you should be able to take action, to speak out. Some children will go home and tell you that today my teacher was beating me on my bra hand. Is a big message to the parents. Why will a teacher be beating you, don't know where to touch you or to tap you, is on your bra hand? Are you getting what I'm trying to say now? Or
Yes.
is trying to touch your waist. A teacher is trying to talk to you and is touching your waist. Is passing a message. There are some shaking you do when somebody is shaking you and touching you and trying to just make sure that it's tickling your palm. There are some messages that they're just passing. So we need to be vigilant. So all these are what we just bring up. It's not only about when a child remove their pants or a boy remove their pants that sex occurs. There are ways that it will start from there and say, come and put your tongue in my tongue. Is a big message too. So these are things that will come up. We have them in different topics. We'll just come up with and share it. So the day I say, no, do not even bring your tongue out for anybody to see. I say, let me see your tongue. Let me see how it is. No, it is no. Because you are not supposed to use your tongue to touch another person's tongue. What are you trying to do? Or let me just feel your lips. Let me see the kind of pants you are wearing. All those things are what we discuss on gender assembly. Nobody should see your pants apart from your parents. Even your teacher is not allowed to see your pants.
Okay. What support system are in place now for the targeted students who maybe that has been bullied? So maybe how do the students, come out from that syndrome that he or she may have, gone through? In your school now, do you have maybe a counseling or a peer support group where, you help students like that?
Yes, we have a counseling department, though such thing has never happened in our school. But for the sake of other things, we have people that talk to children. So and we encourage schools too, that if you have that department, a teacher can still play that role of a counselor in the school. We have some school that has counselors that they are able to get a counselor, but we have some teacher that can still play that role by talking to those kind of kids,
Okay.
by talking to them like,
I can hear you.
okay, like talking to them, talking to is a therapy. Talking is a therapy on its own. When you speak out, when you tell things about people, maybe when you use some life stories, you keep on telling them, you keep on telling them, they will wake up, they will recover from whatever things they are into. That is why we must not allow it to be too late or it's too strong before we take action.
Okay. Okay. In the situation of where, a bully has been found, maybe after investigation, a bully that has maybe been a student or a teacher now, what disciplinary action has been put in place now, in your school, since given the fact that that has not happened before? So what disciplinary action has been put in place for the victims now that, or for the culprits, those behind the bullying, either a student or a teacher?
Yes. All right. Or a teacher.
Yes.
Yes. You can suspend the bully. Can have suspension, and if it's too much, when the thing is too, three much, that's the gravity of the bullying is too high, you can expel that child from the school. Are you getting me? You can expect, if I know of any male teacher in my school now that is trying to bully a child or that is trying to abuse a child, honestly speaking, I will not even suspend you. I will expect, you are going. I'll just sack you. Just go. I'll fire you to leave the school. Because if I say, okay, let me just manage it, I don't know the one you're going to do tomorrow. So but as children, they also need to learn and say, no, this thing, when you tell them after the suspension, when they are back, they still go under some classes that will be telling them what you are doing is not good.
Okay. They said school environment needs to be a very, very healthy environment, because that's where, we bred the future leaders of tomorrow. So how does the school cultural and environmental environment contribute to prevent bullying generally?
Okay. Generally, environment, the climate of the school must be a peaceful one, whereby the children can learn without stress. So sometimes one of the things that you can do is that the children must not be left alone in any place. So, and when you, in the environment of the school, you must ensure that maybe you have cameras, like what we said before, like cameras in the school that make sure to see maybe when things are happening. Where does this bully happen? In the bathroom, in the hallway, in the stairwell, maybe in the cafeteria. Like what happened to that? I think it was in the cafeteria, the Tuesday girl home. It was in the cafeteria. So all those places that that this thing do happen in the school bus. That's why we have a teacher in the school bus, a school bus auntie. Those places that that this bullying can occur, we can have somebody standing there in for the school. So that is to say the school must do more to ensure that the school is safe.
Okay. Are there any resource or programs available to address bullying, maybe workshop and all?
Yes, there are lots. There are a lot of workshop for school owners. There are a lot of workshop as in they're like seminar for children. That's why I said before that we do have program like anti-bullying week. Every term, almost all the school observe the
We are still looking at the methods of, preventing bullying. So ask the question if there are resource programs available for addressing bullying, probably workshop and hotlines. Madam Esther, are you still there? So we're just hoping she could come back and answer it. But while we still wait and definitely having a few technical issues, which will be resolved shortly, there are other prevention methods or modes that I expect, some schools to adapt to be able to prevent all of this from happening. So you don't even get to the stage of maybe, suspending a student or firing a teacher. We have we have to promote empathy and inclusivity that encourage students to appreciate differences and treat others with kindness and respect. If we tend to infuse this in children in the pupil every day, not just in schools, always starting from home, because the first teachers that the children have are their parents. So if the parents can start off this, lessons for the kids at home before they get to school, and then the teachers continue from where the parents stop, it's going to be an added advantage for us to have a healthy and a safe society, so we don't grow up, or the country doesn't get to breed bullies who will be bullying people in the places of work or in the place of school. Establish a clear policy and consequences. Develop and enforce school-wide anti-bullying policy and consequences for bullying behaviors. So consequences, every action obviously requires a consequence. So if there is a negative action that has been played out, so obviously there should be a consequence. That means an act of discipline the person that is involved in that act of bullying. So be it in your workspace, be it at home, all of these stuff are all and unacceptable. That's bullying generally. So sectors, schools, higher institutions, tertiary institutions, business places, private workers, everybody needs to pay more attention. There should be an anti no bullying segment or no bullying course masterpiece that should be happening in workplaces, in schools, so that persons will not end up leaving their homes to go to work or to go to school and then end up coming back home with series of injuries. All of those things are not encouraging. And then in schools, increase supervision, like in the cafeteria, in the hallway, in the classrooms. If there is no class teacher, there should be a supervisor or someone who would be there to supervise the kids. And then make sure that nobody goes at each other's neck. In the bathrooms, in the female bathroom, there should be female supervisors. In the male bathroom, there should be male supervisors. All of this would help, ease out bullying around our schools. If all of these situations are not being tackled, we will end up having a society where we've bred a whole lot of bullies, and this will, tarnish the image of the country. So we need to pay attention to all of these things that are beginning to spur up, so we don't grow up and then the government doesn't end up paying attention to things that they are not meant to pay attention to. So there are a lot of things already going on in the country which requires the government to pay so much attention to, just like the fact that our naira is beginning to rebound now, which is a progress, and then the fact that oil price might be dropping very soon, which is a progress from the federal government and the president. So these are the angles that we expect the federal government to pay more attention to, and not be coming back and be settling things that schools and parents, uncles and aunties will be able to settle. We don't have so much time to deliberate more on this issue, and this is how much we can take today on Midday Discourse. I'll still see you tomorrow at the same time by 1 p.m. as we bring you other topics that are of interest to the general public. My name is Samuel Odi, and thank you so much for spending your lunchtime with me today. I'll see you again tomorrow. Do have a fabulous Thursday ahead. Good afternoon.